Well, we want to shift gears now and a little bit away from the former president, Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi, who will be buried on Wednesday. Let's switch gears and talk about something that is very sensitive, I would say, and so many parents are having trouble. And that is addressing the topic that we're about to discuss, and that is on sexual identity crisis. Now, we live in an era of where there's freedom of expression, freedom of speech, all forms of rights, people would say. But then again, there's an aspect of where so many people are having issues with, and that is on understanding sexuality rather, and, matters to come to address, and that is on gender, aspects of gender conformity and all those things. So we want to understand, that and much more, because, several new studies have documented high rates of sexual identity mobility among young adults, but little work has been investigated, or has investigated the links between identity change and mental health. And of course, to help us understand more on, for you, Fatma, you are a parent. Let's just start from there. Does this scare you?
Actually, not scary. You cannot even sleep.
Okay.
Thinking about this thing, because one thing we need to understand is that, as Faris has put it, one of the things that alongside with a human, either male or a female, there are always instincts that are there inbuilt from where we were created, from where we came from. Yeah. Number one, there are three instincts that comes along with a human. Number one, there's the procreation. Number two, there's the religious. Okay, religious doesn't really mean religion, but some are atheists, some fanatics of football. There's something that you believe in, because religion is just a belief in what you believe in. And then the third one is the ownership instinct. So today, for the sake of the topic, we'll talk about the procreation. So when we come about procreation and the gender, because of course there has to be the gender for the procreation to take effect. And immediately this instinct comes in. Now comes in the way you're putting it. Who am I? Whom would I fall to? Whom would I go to? So with the media and all the exposure and all the negative, let me put it negative, it brings in a lot of scary moments. Because now you realize now it has taken out of control. Whereby the issue of homosexuality, the gayism, it's now on the public domain. And now it's like our children are left to decide. Not me as a parent, but who? Our children.
Isn't that a little bit unfair for the child? Because, I mean, and I think we'll address then an aspect of culture a little bit later. But for now, in terms of a child growing up and wants to express themselves differently. For example, you see, boys, we know they like blue, as in, they don't say they like blue, but we just associate them with the color blue. And then for the girls, it's color pink. So we do not give them that space where they can decide, I am a boy, but I would like to play with dolls, or I like the color pink, where acha behave kama mwanamke, or acha behave kama msichana. Or when they cry, we'll be like, stop crying like a girl. And when the girl is vice versa, they will tell you, why are you behaving like boys? So isn't that kind of unfair for our children?
To be who they are.
To be who they are. And even as they grow up, to make that decision to be whether, I might be a girl or I might be a boy, but I do not feel this way.
Look here, when we talk about homosexuality, this is not something that we can discuss about what a child wants, or what there's a way. Everything was structured.
Okay.
But it's
by
all,
who?
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course, from where we came from.
All right.
From where
okay.
Everybody believes
differently, yes.
Yeah. So everybody from the onset, there's a structure that was there. That this is a boy. The way you're putting it, there's the masculine and the feminine behaviors.
Yes.
You see, so automatically when we come now to the decision about the intersex, whereby I want to be like this, I want to be like this,
and for the intersex, them they're born that way. So
they're the one for the intersex.
Yes, that's different.
That's different. But to talk about now, I've chosen to be a gay, or I've chosen to be a lesbian. So we see that it's unfair to them. Of course, this cannot happen because from where they came from, where we were created, where we came from, there's a work for a female and there's as I said, procreation. If you're going to have two of them together, what is the logic of them coming in together?
Okay.
What is the logic of a girl and girl coming in together? Procreation, we go deeper. It's only that time won't allow us to go
to
down.
Discuss. Yeah,
the
it's a lot. It's a
but
lot.
It's
yeah.
a lot. It's a lot when we take the topic about procreation. When we talk about procreation, one of the things is to sire even another human being. If we come together, will we sire one? Will we get one? Who are we going to be?
Yeah.
But you see now, the way you're putting it, the media has really made it, even at time it was a taboo. You could not even mention this word anywhere. Even in African culture. Because Mark, you believe this is not even our culture.
Yeah.
This is a foreign culture.
Okay,
This
all
is
right.
a foreign culture.
And I would want Faris to come into that because people would argue and say, well, these things were there back then. It's just that, like you say, and I totally agree with you, we didn't hear so much of those cases back then. We actually hear them more now. So then, and then bring in the aspect of culture and what you're saying, this is not our culture, this is foreign. Yeah. What would you say to that?
I want to begin by where you mentioned about nurture and nature.
Yeah.
Of course, when you talk of nature, you are basically saying the person was born like this. And for an individual to be who they are made up of nature and nurture. That's
nurture,
genes and what people and what
The
the
environment.
environment is training them and shaping them. And culture is usually very important because it's a tool of survival. For any community or any nation or society to survive, it has to have a set of a culture that can help it to keep moving on. And if the culture does not support an individual to grow and to be, then there is a problem there. So when you come to matters of, because we are talking about the crisis in sexual identity, then it would mean the culture itself is failing its own. Because a child is born, other than the intersex or bisexuals, a child is born and they learn how to be human from the others.
Yeah.
One person said that each person is born naked and pure. It's only the society that trains them how to wear clothes and to be corrupt. Meaning, if you are born in a forest with monkeys, you will probably become like a monkey.
Yes.
And that's a way of survival. It's a
Yeah.
culture for survival. So the same case applies to these issues of sexuality.
Yeah.
For humanity to continue perpetuating itself and moving forward and contributing to each other's growth, there is a set of culture that it has to build.
Yeah.
But now, as you're saying, with people fighting for
Their rights.
for their rights, individualism, that I want to be who I am, you start seeing those voices emerging. While they may be celebrated in the context of law and the right, but also you should be looking at the implication going forward, because an individual who is born and you say, I want to express myself the
in
way I
this
want,
way. Yeah.
they are likely to throw themselves into a deeper end, into collusion course with the culture in which they are living. So you put them in another set of, they put themselves rather in another set of crises that may make them be inhibited to be who they were meant to be. Because I can tell you, the problem of sexual identity is one of the least talked about, but one of the worst that an individual can go through, and they can give up very easily in life because of the
before I lose this and talk to Fatma about something you mentioned that is on media and how it has influenced some of those things, should we then allow the children, I don't want to use the word experiment, but to sort of, if they feel they want to express themselves in a particular way that they feel at that particular point is who they are, and then probably later on they'll realize, you know what, no, this is not who I am. So should we give them then that leeway to just try?
That would be dangerous because, as we have said, for an individual to be, they need a facilitative environment.
Okay.
We need to set parameters through which an individual is growing.
Okay.
Otherwise, they will destroy themselves. They will
Okay.
destroy themselves.
But we wouldn't know if we do not give them a chance to.
Let me tell you one thing.
Yeah.
As we are talking about nurture and nature,
Yeah.
the nurture aspect of it, the why it is there, is for you to provide what is required for this person to learn.
To learn.
And
Okay.
to grow. They need
get
the
it.
tools, they need the skills to be able to analyze, to be able to make decisions, to be able to go into transformation. And for that to happen, it means you must be a facilitative agent. So you can imagine a situation where, today that's why you hear, even when we are talking about rights of expression and everything,
Yeah.
you can find law exist.
Yeah.
Why? Because if you allow everybody to be what
who they
want,
are and say what they
you
want.
create a very big
It will be
crisis.
chaotic. It will be chaotic. Totally understand.
Yes.
Okay, so Fatma,
Yes.
media, so do you mean like in terms of, we're talking about phones, we're talking about access to internet, we're talking about access to technology, and even the peers, the children talking amongst themselves. And even right now, we're having cartoons, which of course the kids
Of course,
love,
yeah.
but then again, they have that
The gays
aspect
and,
of, gays and lesbianism. Even the movies that they watch as well, they also have some of that. So are you saying that the media has sort of change, not change, but influence. Influence is the word.
I almost even talked before you finished and say yes. I will jump to the sky
But you see,
and say,
according to-
look here.
Yeah.
When we look at I'm listening to Mr. Faris here. I really enjoying the way he's trying to articulate.
Yeah.
And I wish we could even get an hour or so. I'll tell you something. I know you've not even thought about it.
Yeah.
That's why I'm trying to even to back him about the nature and the nurture.
Yeah.
Whatever we nurture, it's what we'll get back. And remember, from our children comes the society, comes
Yeah.
the country, comes everything.
Yeah.
We nurture bad, we get bad results, isn't it? So number one, you look at the homosexuality name, or the lesbian or the gayism. Even if you go and look in our African languages,
Yeah.
we don't have a vocabulary for
For
it.
the same.
For the same.
Okay.
So that tells you no.
Okay.
Okay, we can say, no, yes, these children want to try it. Number two, why are they trying it? Can we go deeper and ask ourselves, why would my son come tell me, Mom, I'm gay. Mama, I want to be a lesbian. You see, they're trying to fulfill their emotional gap because they feel like, because look at the media nowadays. I wish we had an FM radio here, whichever station.
Yeah.
Everything we talk about nowadays is about bad marriages. The man, women have done this. When you go to women, men have done this. First and foremost, the sacred taint of a marriage has been treated in a
Tainted.
very bad way.
Yeah.
You get it?
Yeah.
So if a woman can do to me this, then I'd rather have a man. A man can't do to me this. So you see, the setup already is crashing that thing through the media. So everybody is listening to it. Everybody is lacking the benefit. Hold on.
Yeah.
Another
Okay.
thing is that the system,
Yes.
system has the individual rights.
All right.
And they talk about sexual rights. I don't know, that's your individual. And that even puts even the gap wider. Because when they say that it's your personal right,
Yeah.
they didn't articulate well. Personal right to who?
Okay.
Is it to an animal?
All right.
Is it to the other gender? So all the mechanism that we are having right now, they are really fueling that media. Because when I talk about media, look at even the high hit movies. All of them, they come today, they must have a gay. The other day, and now they even encroached even in the churches. The other day we saw a pastor gay. The other day we saw even a Muslim. I don't know, are they in Egypt? You saw them in the media? I don't know who they are Muslim. So they are trying all the mechanism through the media, whoever is the initiator of the same.
All right.
Because as I said, it's not our culture, it's a foreign.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm struggling with the initial, or you want to
I
add
want
something?
to
with
add
the same?
something to that.
Yeah.
And the reason, the question of why is it happening,
Yes.
which Fatma is raising, is
Yeah.
very important.
Yeah.
Because when you trace and see research, the studies that have been done as far as homosexuality is concerned, you will understand the causes. One is the fact that an individual perhaps went through a certain crisis.
All right.
That means the environment was not suitable for them to develop.
Yeah.
Number two, you hear, look at today, like the issue of boarding schools, for example. A boy who was taken to a boarding school at the age of 4, at class 4, which is purely boys, for example, as they are growing to learn how to express themselves sexually, the only environment
that was there
is a boy environment.
Yeah.
And naturally they are growing, as you talked about nurture. So they will only learn how to express themselves and to handle who they have seen and grown up with.
Okay.
When you throw them out there to deal with a different
Okay.
person who is a lady, it becomes very...
But there's another aspect of choice.
Yes.
All right, we're fine. I was taken to a boarding school where it was purely girls. That doesn't mean that I will end up being a lesbian because I was taken to, and I saw myself.
really.
We should take a short break and then we'll come back with this. There's that aspect of choice and still going back to the nature versus nurture, debate, which I think we cannot exhaust.
Yeah.
But we're taking a very short break right here on New Day. Remember, our topic of discussion today is on sexual identity crisis. So if you want to chime in, feel free to call us live or 791-4789-90 and just let's hear what you have to say. And of course, also keep the conversation going on our social media handles on Twitter at EveryTV, of course, hashtag NewDayKE. We'll be right back with more on sexual identity crisis. Stay with us. All right, welcome back. Glad you're still with us. This is New Day. And of course, we're having a really interesting discussion today, which I think is very important, for us to talk about or to address, and that is on sexual identity crisis, which we're seeing right now. With the advancement in technology, of course, Fatma is saying, the media has a role to play as far as this is concerned. And that is in terms of, expressing our, sexual feelings, thoughts, attractions, behaviors, and generally how people express themselves. So if you want to chime in, again, feel free to call us live or 791-4789-90 is the number to call through, and just let us hear what you have to say as far as sexual identity topic is concerned. Are you a parent? Are you scared? Are you okay? Are you having these discussions with your children? Please call us and tell us how you are doing as well. But Fatma, before we went for break, that aspect of choice, because I remember when I was in school, I was in a mixed school actually, and people struggle with how were you in a mixed school, like how, but I mean, the boys used to have their own dormitories, the girls have their own dormitories, but we used to share dining hall and some of the classes. But then again, we still saw cases of, some girls, doing the deed, and the boys, okay, well, we didn't hear much about the boys, but we heard so much about the girls, and would also hear so many other stories from, again, other schools with, the same gender, whether it's a boys' school or a girls' school, on their own. So then that aspect of, okay, fine, this is some of the things that might contribute, but not necessarily cause.
Yeah, yes, not necessarily cause, but we are looking at the various contributions to the same. And human interaction is a skill.
Yeah.
They learn how to interact with each other over time. And that's what I'm saying. If you, for some of them, become victims of being denied an opportunity for that interaction with the other sex, so that they know this is how it can be handled. So for their safety, they would rather deal with the ones they have dealt with throughout their lives.
Yes, you're right.
That was my point.
Okay.
Yes.
And then so for Fatma, fine, media, a little bit here and there, and based from what we said, earlier on, the programs, that they're also watching, especially when the parent is away, because they know if my mom or my dad knows this is what I'm watching, it's going to be a big problem. There's internet as well. Our children are having smartphones even as young as what, 2? Not 2. 5, when they can understand and they can get access to internet and all those things and watch some of these things, get information from the internet and all those things. So then as parents, because like you said, sometimes you cannot even sleep, it scares you the most. So do you think this is a conversation that parents should have? And if so, when? When do you introduce? Because there was some group of people who were saying, you cannot give what you don't have. True?
True.
Because as parents, they weren't taught these things. They weren't told these things. They never had this discussion with their parents. So how then am I supposed to sit down with my child and tell them, now listen, here is what is going to happen, or this is some of the things that are happening now, and feel free to talk to me about it. Some people feel it's so weird. So then when should we introduce such conversations with our children?
The main issue is not when.
Okay.
As in, we are facing, I don't know how I can dub the crisis.
Yeah.
Because most of us parents, we are absent. You get it? And now with a lot of freedom of expression, freedom of the media, you realize you cannot give what you don't have.
True.
So you realize these children, whatever the foreign things they are learning, they're even coming with them to challenge us. Because number one, you are not there to teach the nurture part. You're not there to nurture. Already majority, I can talk about 70, 80% of parents, we are delegating our responsibilities. So when you delegate these responsibilities, you are not in control. What this child will be, you know, it may not even be taught verbally.
True.
It might be seen, it may be influenced. And then now, the kind you talk about, maybe a girl was behaving like this, maybe a tomboy or whatever. You see, there's some people who are like that born.
Yeah.
But you see, when they're ignited, when they're told that this, you are like this because you're supposed to be, your genes are just of a man. So you're supposed to be on this.
Yeah.
And now there's no parent there to shape. Because one of the responsibility of parents, the nurturing part, is shaping and feeling and putting data in that head for that. So that that child can grow knowing that this is who I am. I am a girl. I am a boy. And of course, you know, with the things they just place themselves. This one will play with a doll, this will play with a car. So you nurture the feelings.
Okay.
So you realize that the damage is just too high. The damage is just too high. Right now, the damage is just so much comprehensive. And you know, comprehensive damage needs comprehensive solution.
True.
Because of course we are having the compromise. Because we are compromising so many things. When you tell me that we should allow these children to practice or to go
Not
on
practice, like,
and see maybe and for their own.
Yeah.
Now, if they do all that, where are we going to get a society tomorrow? Where are we going to get our grandchildren? Where are we going to get other children? Where are we going to get the society? Because for sure we know everything has a reason.
It has a
so
reason,
what is the reason for you doing that?
Okay.
It's just a temporary emotional fulfillment
Okay.
that even at a certain time, let me talk about something. We'll go and adopt a child, me and you.
Yeah.
You can imagine, we take this child to school. They know this is a female, this is a mother, and this is a male, this is a father. But me and you, we are female together.
Yeah.
I call myself, I'm the wife. How will this child, psychological child of this child, how will he or she grow?
Okay.
So
All right,
the effects are permanent.
it's way above just an individual.
So the best thing that we can do
Yeah.
is to try and talk it over and over
again.
so
Yeah.
that we can still try to undo. And hopefully at a certain time we can have a comprehensive solution.
Okay, all right. And in the interest of time, because again, like you said, this is a discussion that requires quite a bit of time to discuss.
Yeah.
But then again, so in terms of then, if someone probably, and a child, a teenager is going through what we're talking today, and that is about sexual identity crisis, then where do they go? Who do you talk to? Because culture, our parents are very strict. I mean, you cannot just go and tell them anything, you know? You have to be very careful and all those things. So some children might be scared to even mention this to the parent. Then the aspect of church where they'll tell you, hey, Shindwe, Pepo. Okay, so then, so who do you turn to? Who do you talk to?
That's where the crisis is.
Okay. That's where
Our comprehensive crisis is there now.
You see,
Yes.
a parent should create that environment, a safety. Family should be a safety, should offer
should
a
be a
safety
safe haven,
space for the child to learn. And you asked a question, at what point do you communicate as a parent? One is every opportunity that presents itself, as long as you are helping these children to discover themselves with a language that is palatable to them at every stage in their life, that is what is required. And as they grow, they know, at least for these things, as I discover myself sexually, home is a place where I can ask a question safely and be answered.
Okay.
So the first person
without being weird.
Yeah, without being weird. So the parent then should be equipped, or should seek to equip him or herself with the skills on how to help those children discover themselves sexually. Because it's a learning curve.
Yeah.
And without facilitation, then as you're saying, they will turn to TV, they will turn to phone.
The internet and all those
And
things.
it may, yes, and it may create a confusion for them, which they may never recover from. Now, talk of the social institutions that are there, the churches and the schools. Same case. It's an area which is rarely discussed. No one wants to
even think about it.
No,
yes, yes. Just like you and me. Yeah, it is even very rare to talk about it, you see. Now, it is where the capacity then needs to be built.
Okay.
And that's what we are saying. When it comes to the building of capacity on areas of parenting. For people like me, you who is in media and her in the community, that's where we need to help the parents appreciate the need for skills to help the children in the journey of discovering themselves, to get them out of the crisis. Without anybody to ask for clarification, they will remain in that confusion.
They will. And at the end of the day, I mean, in terms of, nobody teaches you to be a parent. Let's just start from there.
Yes.
Nobody teaches you to be a parent. It's different for different people, and people apply different mechanisms or ways to raise their children, which I think it's still okay. But then again, what Fatma is saying is that, listen, we need to help these children to grow up in the way that is accommodative from what we got to everybody, not just the individual.
What I'll tell you,
yes.
monkey see, monkey do.
Monkey do. True.
You get it? So as we expose, because right now, look even at the everything in our adverts, in everything we go, even in our dress code, everything, our society has developed in a mechanism where it's hypersexual.
Yeah.
And remember about the procreation instincts, eh? So when these things comes in, and this child and this parent doesn't have inform, and then there's something that, and then the way they hyped those gays, the way they, you know, they are so cladding, earrings, you know, they look very, a lot of money. So cool. Yes. And you know, with the kind of lack of information from these children, so all of them tend to flock to that. So what we can really work on so much, the way Faris is putting it, it has to be, okay, already it is here, and we're not going to run away. Yeah. And then we must sit, we must agree that much effort has to be done, so that the same influence is there to influence them. There's another counter whereby we are going to tell them no from the media, from the churches, from everywhere, that even when this child grows out of the nurture format now, out of the nurture format, they will know that here what we are doing it's wrong.
But how then do we do that without stigmatizing them? Because already we have people who have come out and say, you know what, I am gay, I am bisexual, I am a lesbian, I am transgender, I am, you know, all those forms of gender orientation, sexuality, all right? So then how do we address this without then stigmatizing these other people? I don't know if that makes sense. Because there already there's some people who have come out and say, you know what, this is who I am, and that's okay.
I think we bite the bullet because it is already there, and they have pronounced themselves, and they need to be supported in terms of they are already in a crisis, so to speak. Because
you think they're in a crisis?
Yes, because you see, when the community looks at them, or the society generally, it has a lot of reservations. So it is them versus the society, and that's why you see protests all over, writing and going to court and everything. So the society has to bite the bullet that this happened and find a way of reaching out. Then secondly, on the other side, the society also has to accept that we failed. That's why people are getting into more crises sexually. That today I'm a man, tomorrow I can change to be a woman, then after another day I declare myself a woman or a man. That person is already in a crisis. So if the society then has found itself at that point, is where we are talking of the sexual education. But there is a caveat to it on the proponents of the sexual education and what the content is. Because what we have seen so far, some of the content actually is advancing what in itself is creating a crisis.
A crisis in itself.
You get the point?
Okay, yes.
But the thing is, having even more facilities that maybe from the people of goodwill, not necessarily asking the government to do it, where a person who finds themselves in this trapped, in this crisis.
Because there's some people who are trapped.
Yeah, they're trapped. They can go out there and seek for support and help so that they can get out of it. We want them to grow and go past that instead of remaining in that pain forever. It's very painful.
Yeah, it is. Can we get the society to then be a little bit accommodative, and especially to these people who have already come out and say, this is who I am, and this is how I am expressing myself? Can we then get to that point where the society will be accommodative, or it will create more crises? Because Fatma is looking at me like, wait, listen.
Like jumping. You know, as a parent, I feel like this was something I'll want to come near. So the issue is that as far as putting it, there's a lot of anarchy. Number one, even they are physical, because your genes, if your genes were feminine, you want to transform, you cannot. Where will we take that genes? How are we going to remove them from your body? Because you see, this is just a psychological feeling to satisfy your
But
emotional.
But there's people who go through surgery.
Even
and
if you
all
do
those
it,
things.
you
won't change
cannot, you
anything.
won't change your
Okay.
genes.
Okay.
So the thing is that society will be hard to accept these things. And the only thing is that we should leave the doors open when they come, because, okay, they're doing that for media purpose. Remember
You
that?
think?
Yeah.
Okay.
Themselves when they go, because you realize that they know there's nowhere we can go beyond this.
All right.
What else can you become after that? Let's allow you, okay, fine, here you are. And we even allow you, go even to those churches and do the wedding.
Yeah.
Go to those mosques, go wherever you want to go.
Yeah.
What else do you think you're going to become after that?
Yeah.
So even them, they know what they are doing. But since, I repeat again, it's a foreign thing. So the thing is that we leave the door open for them. We allow for us to know. We, like human, sending the human that heart to them. When they come, we allow them to feed them in the society, even though a lot of fears. Everybody will be like, I don't want you to be like,
Yes.
the stigmatization
Or
again
don't come
comes
near
in,
my children.
sinking
Yeah.
in.
All right.
So the best thing is to just talk to parents, talk to everyone, that this is a crisis. And nobody would want to be in this kind of a thing. So we stop ignoring that it can't happen to your door. It is there
It's
in our
there,
houses.
yeah.
It is happening. And the people who are coming out and realize and tell you, Fatima, I'm a gay, you just wonder now, how did it even start?
Yeah.
So we first agree it is there. And we agree, number two, to work towards it, not to
Okay.
shy off.
Yeah, or even stigmatize them. Because you see,
Yeah.
once we stigmatize these people, there's nothing, we're helping them in one way or the other. Because you see, at the end of the day, it won't change. What we're trying to do is just make them even be vocal about it, because you're trying to stigmatize them. You cannot shut me down. This is what I feel I am, and that's that. So then,
When you do that, there's one thing I want you to see. We are the setup of a family. It's getting down one step at a
By
one
the
step.
day, yeah.
I think the first culprit was a man. No, the first one was a man, yeah. And there's so many names. Now that's another topic for another day.
Yes.
And then before the man, there was the liberation of a woman.
Yes.
You get it? And it brought in a lot of, okay, people think a lot of advantage, but the disadvantages are the one I'm talking about, comprehensive damages. You see? And then after that now, our children are on the line. So looking at 10, 15, 20 years to come, what are we going to have as human? What are we going to have? There's no husband there, or you know the names we tag them. There's no wife. Of course, she got liberated and all have you, the modern woman. Again, now we don't have a child here. What are we going to have as a family? Who will be there to be called a family? So it's food for thought. So
okay,
let's work
all
on
right,
it.
food for thought. All right,
Yeah.
and Faris, then as we wind up then, in terms of the parents and that aspect of not stigmatizing them and the family and even the society in general, what would you say in terms of just understanding these people? Because like we said, they are in a crisis to begin with. So then, yeah, so what do we do as a family, as, you know, parents, psychologists as well,
Yeah,
I mean, counselors
yeah.
who come to play?
Yeah, you see, family should remain a safety space for
for them.
everyone.
Yeah.
So even these who have already been labeled out there for whatever reason, either by omission of the parent or commission or whatever happened to this child, home should remain a safety space for them.
yes.
And they should be helped from the family going forward. And I also want to say that even as we discuss these things, you know, there is a time we would say that women in this country cannot be military.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But all of a sudden, we have accepted that now they are...
And they're doing really good.
and they are doing very, very well.
Okay, all right.
What that tells you is that human has the ability to change over time. And when you're addressing this crisis, we have to do it at the back of our mind, knowing while we are talking of nature, if we are very clear that our ethics, the morality for us should be within these parameters, then even those who we consider to be extreme
Yeah.
can be accommodated within the
Within the
ethics and
ethics
the
of
morality
that.
that we
Okay.
have as a
society.
community for
All
the
right.
sake of survival
Yeah.
of the humanity.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, and we have to end the show on that note.
Thank you.
I know this is a discussion that we can have over and over again. But like you said, this is something that should begin at the family level and then advance into, you know, the society, community, and even at the nation. But something that we said today is try and address this from a compassionate point of view. Do not stigmatize, because at the end of the day, when you stigmatize, you're not helping them in any way, but try to understand the why. Remember we said the why is very important. So if we understand the why, then it will be easier for us to address this, and that is as far as sexual identity crisis is concerned. My name is Winnie Lubambe. Thank you so much for staying with us. If you missed part of this discussion, don't worry. You can catch the full episode on our YouTube page, and that is on Ebru TV Kenya, or follow us on Twitter as well on Ebru TV Kenya. Have yourselves a good day. We'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place, where we'll be discussing on, the breakfast, especially for the school-going children. You do not want to miss that. But for now, goodbye. God bless. Stay safe.